Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank you for taking your time to meet with members of the community in this area. The purpose of us being here today is to be in response of what happened yesterday, the tragedy, as well to bring awareness of the issues and our request on how these issues can be resolved. So with that being said, I'm just going to let you guys know I plan on being completely transparent and not holding my tongue, so please forgive me. But we're going to pass it to different members of the community so they can tell you, being in the community, how they feel, what they would like, and what changes that we want. With that being said, I will pass it to... Go ahead.
You could have just started.
I'll start.
Yeah.
Bad choice. All right. First, I want to be completely transparent. Completely transparent that it's time for the city to start listening to the community, and completely transparent that who do you see here are the voices, the real voices of the black community. Yesterday, I personally got a phone call, got multiple phone calls about an incident that happened right down here. There was a block party going on. People went out to have a good time. In result of that, we still don't have the numbers. I have words. We don't even know if anyone has been deceased. We are unaware. But 16 people at least got shot. And of course, when things like this happens, politicians and everyone, they want to jump out and talk about changes. But they never want to talk to us. And it's a little frustrating. But before I get to that, I want to talk to our community. The community right here. What's going on with our youth cannot be fixed by prayers, cannot be fixed by thoughts, even cannot be fixed by gun reform. Now, we need gun reform, but that's not an ultimate solution to the problem that's going on in this area. Individuals in this community and other communities that we all advocate for, it's not a problem to get a firearm. So now how do we deal with it? How do we make change? What I saw yesterday was a lot of self-hate, and it really hurt my feelings. There probably was a lot of people that looked just like me. Not only willing to take lives, but willing to take lives with innocent people around. And I just want to make clear that this is not to condemn anybody. This is just a real picture. These are the issues that we're dealing with when a young black man can look at another young black man, not care who's around, children, elders, and literally open up fire with no sense, no value of life. There has to be a reason, and again, the reason is self-identity. I want to say to every young child in the Charleston community that we hear you. I want to say to the gangs, that's right, the gangs, a lot of them that know me and I communicate with, that we hear you. But it doesn't have to be this way. And I want to make a call out to the people on how they can help. First, I'll start with the pastors. We're not going to fix this problem in the church. We're not going to fix this problem because they don't come into the church. So that means that, yes, local pastors, like Pastor Rivers, who was just there, and like other pastors that live in this community, they're going to have to step out into some uncomfortable situations, into some uncomfortable environments. And they're going to have to open up these chains of communication, because that is the only way that this can be fixed. to the city council and to Police Chief Reynolds, please stop making suggestions for a community that you are not a part of on a daily basis. What I encourage you to do is to sit down with these same community leaders. Don't you dare call another press conference without actual members of this community or members of the people. Because I'm going to tell you one thing. Those shooters, those people that are in gang violence right now, those people that have community violence, they're not listening to that. They're not listening to that. They're not watching that. So again, how can we say that we really want change if we don't open up that ear? This is not the first time that we've addressed gun violence here. We've addressed gun violence here now, and if we're talking about mass shootings, we addressed gun violence before Buffalo. But the charades have to stop. I'm 32 years old. I'm not an elder. And I do have a better relationship with the youth. But I understand that these kids, and I still call some of them kids because some of them are over 18 that are shooting, they have no sense of life or value. And I'm not putting words in their mouth. They've told me that. They have told me that. So the best way to change that is to truly show them who they are as a community. I ask everyone to put the value on humanity so there won't be any crying mothers. But to this city, we are telling you how you can help. To these pastors, the younger generation is telling you how you can help. It isn't your job as a pastor just to preach. We need your help out here. And to the black community, stand together. Black lives can not only matter when an officer kills us. It can't just happen when police brutality goes on. Black lives have to matter like yesterday when 16 people got shot, or like 30 minutes ago where a drive-by shooting happened in Ashley Phosphate. See, we know all these things because we're getting calls, because Black Lives Matter 24/7 to us. Whether it's our own people or not. The old ways of changing our youth are not working. But that's okay, because there are new ways. And we can't go into these communities, go into these gangs with a judgmental heart. We have to have an open mind and be ready for open conversations. It broke my heart yesterday, hearing mothers cry, and yes, I heard mothers cry. Hearing parents call because they can't find or hear from their children, or seeing citizens locked in with big ammunition. And they didn't get these guns from no gun store. None of these guns were licensed or permit. I hate to be so transparent, but you're talking about the streets. They don't need a permit. They don't care about a permit. So there has to be more attention drawn on what are we going to do as Charleston? Because sadly, the East Side isn't the only issue that we have gun violence. What are we going to do as Charleston to address this issue? I encourage my brothers with one code. I know I can't stop gang violence. I know that. I know I can't snap my fingers. If I could, I would. I know I can't stop all these communities and gangs or whatever. I can't do that. But I'm going to ask one code this summer. Keep it away from children, elders, and innocent people. This is not me condoning violence. I want to make it clear that I am against all violence. but I can't stop it. But while I'm trying to stop it, to every person, whether in the gang, anybody, I know y'all hear me because y'all know me. Keep it away from the children, keep it away from the elders, and keep it away from innocent people. An elder queen shouldn't have to worry about if she goes to the grocery store if she's gonna live to talk about it. 8-year-olds shouldn't be getting shot in drive-by shootings. And in this state, we've had 2 8-year-olds in the past 2 weeks get shot and killed by drive-by shootings. And you know what? They are not the intended target. Man, these kids so frustrated and confused, they just shooting and don't even know where they're shooting at. And a bullet doesn't have a name. And I know when you guys do this, I know you think about that. I know the person that killed this 8-year-old thought about that 8-year-old. I didn't mean to hit him. I know the people that are going to get arrested had to have thought, what about a young lady or a college student or just somebody or the pregnant lady? My brothers, because just because I don't agree with you doing violence, you're still my brother. We got to stop taking each other's lives, man. So I asked for one code, and that's coming from the South Carolina Black Activist Coalition. We're going to put it up in barbershops. We're going to put it on in black-owned restaurants. This code, nothing is to be done around children, elders, and innocent people. And for those that say, oh, you should just say all, I'm a realistic. Don't you think if I could stop gun violence, I'd stopped it by now? But our innocent people don't deserve to die. They don't ask for this. A child doesn't ask for this. And I'm going to end this. Ain't nothing gangster about shooting at innocent people, man. I'm not going to get into what issues you have going on or your reasoning for wanting to take another person's life. That's none of my business. But there's nothing gangster about just shooting in the crowds and killing innocent people that don't even know you. If the gangs could respect that one code, it would mean a lot to the black community. Thank you.
So my name is Marcus McDonald, MARCUS-MCD-ONALD, speaking on behalf of Charleston Black Lives Matter. The late leader of Charleston Black Lives Matter, Muhyiddin Baha, once said, don't prescribe unless you can describe. I'm a firm believer in that. And one way that I feel like I can describe this situation, or what it reminds me of, about 1 or 2 weeks ago, Pastor Dixon was there. It was the 1-year memorial of the passing of Ron Janae Smith from gun violence last year in the North Charleston Party. And I remember, so I was substitute teacher at Burke, haven't been there a lot this semester, but I do it often, and I plan to go in the fall. A lot of kids from Burke were at that party where Ron Janae unfortunately lost her life. And it hurt me as a substitute teacher just being in some of the classes and hearing some of the kids talk about the trauma they had to go through escaping that situation, because it was after their prom. A lot of them were just trying to have a good time, and I remember there's one child in particular told me about how he had to hide under a church for 30 to 45 minutes waiting for the shooting to stop. And I'll say this, is we've talked to, as far as, particularly in our community, as far as asking for help, I want to also plead for that. It is okay to talk to somebody outside your family. It's okay to talk to a therapist. You're not spreading family business. It's not weak as a man or a female to ask for help for trauma that you've experienced through this gun violence, because it's a continuous trauma. Not only are some of us see it in person, but a lot of us see it on the news with the Parkland shooting, with the shooting in Buffalo, the shooting in Uvalde last week. It's a lot of encompass trauma that we all experience. So I want to say that mental health is important. Black mental health does matter. And I urge folks who have gone through traumatic experiences, just feeling a sort of way with everything that's been happening, please feel free to talk to somebody. If you ever want to come down to the ECDC Center, also has different options for people who have for mental health programs and youth programs. So there's opportunities out here. There's a Charleston Dorchester mental health clinic as well. But it's also how we treat ourselves and how we treat each other. And we got to treat each other with love. And I think that not only encompasses how we treat me and you and the people within our community, within our networks, but also how our relationships with the community and relationships with the governing bodies. Y'all have to treat this incident with love. And another thing that I'll mention as far as like things that the city prioritized to make this better and to make things actually change. This time last year, there was actually several times last year there were shootings around the east side, and every time that there's a shooting, I see the mayor come out, people come out for these instances like this. However, what I heard nothing on was when there's a summer camp. I'm not going to mention which one, but a summer camp in this community.
The information that I have, and that's all the information that I need, because you know how the other shootings happen? By hate. By hate against another person, by rivalry. They were just getting ready to not merge, but send some students from North Charleston over to another high school, not even knowing the gang affiliation. And they would have started World War III. Really, they would have started, they were going to mix two of the top rival gangs together. And they don't even know this crap because they're not in the community. Then, when you do put them together and they fight and they shoot, they get expelled, they go to jail. It's a damn repetitive system because none of these politicians, chiefs, want to listen. How dare the mayor make suggestions with those fake-ass pastors that want to stand up there and don't know anything about our people. How dare you do that when 16 people got shot? Please stop with the games. I'm tired of it. Stop with the games. Praying ain't working. Thoughts and prayers are not working. It takes action. It takes you listening. It takes our people coming out, and it takes us working together. That thing I just saw right there had me so freaking pissed. I kept it quiet, but it had me so freaking pissed. Because people are dying. And you give me a permit? You're going to upgrade permits? You think that's the solution? Who told you that? Ask Mayor Tecklenburg and Chief Reynolds, who told them that mandating a 25-person permit would help with violence in this community. Ask him where he got that idea from. And I'd like to know an answer. Or did he make it up? If you think over-policing is... Why don't y'all try building a relationship with people? Why don't y'all try that?
Invest in some programs.
Invest in some programs. Some funding.
Interventionists. Yeah.
You don't have to have your gun drawn every time. Come meet us. And I want to see their actions when they're not on the camera.
$500,000 a coach.
I want to see their actions when they're not on the camera.
Think you can do something with it?
I want to see them when they're not on the camera. It shouldn't take a shooting for Tecklenburg to come out here. So, I didn't mean to lose my temper, but I'm pissed off. Just like the rest. So I send my prayers to the family. I spoke to a lot of them. Just know that we're here for you as a community, and it's never going to end. We're going to keep fighting. But lastly, to these brothers, sisters too, anybody around the community, obey the code. Obey the code. Don't do this around children, elders, and innocent people. That's all I'm asking. I know I can't stop violence, but if you could respect that, the community would be gratefully thankful.
That's it. That's it. Thank you all so much for bearing with us today. Really appreciate it.